Eyes front! Eyes front! Eyes right! Up! Good!
Eyes front!
Eyes forward!
এতিয়া বাবা লগা স্পেচ কৰি দিব আৰু হাউচ কাণ্ড বহিকেইটা ৰখি থাকিব Ibrahim বহি দেখাব হাউচ এনে বহি থাকিব
Federal Government of Nagaland, 75th anniversary of Naga independence. Speech delivered on 14 August 2022. Federal Government of Nagaland. My dear countrymen and women, it is a great privilege and an honor for me to address you on this historic occasion of the Naga Independence Day. Today, the 14th of August 2022, I warmly bid you on behalf of all the rank and file of the NNCFJ. It was in 1947 that our pioneers and visionary leaders proclaimed the aspiration of Naga people and took a green state to declare our freedom and independence to the world on this historic day. We are grateful to our Almighty God for the guidance, protection, sustenance through our long struggle for an honorable existence and a rightful place as a nation among the nations of the world. Naga nationalism is a movement for the restoration of our political and historical rights. Nagas have always been fierce lovers of freedom and equality. Our aspiration has always been for self-determination. We do not covet what is not ours or what belongs to others, but we would get what is rightfully ours at all costs. The political history of the Nagas first started with the resistance of the British colonizers and later with Indian imperialism. The Naga people for many decades has been fighting for a free homeland and resisting the oppressive occupational forces of India and Myanmar on our land. Ever since the British colonial empire left the Indian subcontinent, since the British government remained silent on the Naga's right to self-determination at the time of its departure from Indian subcontinent, the NNC after getting the necessary assurance from the top leaders of the time, declared Naga independence on 14 August 1947, a day ahead of Indian declarations of independence. To augment this declaration, the NNC conducted the plebiscite on 16 May 1951, wherein 99.9% voted for sovereignty. And ever since its formation, the federal government of Nagaland has always stood firm and resolute on the historical and political right of the Nagas. When it was made clear to India that the Nagas would not join the Indian Union, India started sending thousands of troops to occupy the Naga territory forces to hunt down the nationalists, unleash intolerable sufferings on the Naga people. They intrude our homes, persecute and torture our people without any valid reasons. Our women were abused and molested, carried out willful destructions of our goods and properties, killed and injured many of our people. It was because of this reason that the Nagas were compelled to rise up with arms against the Indians. The Indian government introduced several oppressive laws and acts like Disturbed Area Act, the Armed Forces Special Power Act, Prevention of Unlawful Activities Act, etc. These draconian laws continue to be imposed and enforced in our land by the government of India, the so-called biggest democracy in the world. The Nagas also conclude several agreements with the government of India, like the Hydari Agreement of 1947, or the 9-point agreement, the 16-point agreement, the ceasefire of 1964, etc. But unfortunately, India has not honored her commitments, and successive Indian leaders failed to uphold the promises made by the Nagas by their most venerated leaders like N.K. Gandhi and Raja Gopalachari. However, Nagas have always sought to live in the harmony and peaceful coexistence with our neighbors. We are aware that conflict do not serve any purpose. It is not beneficial either for the Indian or the Naga. Thus, to end the conflict, the NNC urged, after many rounds of deliberations, consultations, and much thought, took the decision to take part in the political dialogue with government of India in 2017 as an entity of the NPG, in order to hammer out the differences and arrive at a political solution which is honorable and mutually acceptable. We took the decision to participate in the talks, believing that violence should end and that we should pave the way for peace to prevail in our beautiful homeland, which thought not of our making or design, has experienced so much violence and bloodshed. The political negotiations between the government of India and the working committee of the NPGs, having concluded the solutions of the Naga issue, may pose as a challenge to the wisdom and statesmanship of the Indian leaders. A positive, a great achievement of the many deliberations between the government of India and the Naga National Political Groups Working Committee was the recognition of the historical and political right of the Nagas to self-determine their future in the consonance with their distinct identity by the government of India. It is perhaps for the first time in the history that the government of India has put on record that the Nagas have a historical and political right for future self-determination in tune with our distinct identity. The government of India has also given assurance to the Working Committee (NNPG) that for solution the unresolved issue can be pursued by political democratic process given to in the Nagas in the hope that it will usher in a new era of lasting peace and tranquility long desired by our people. As we celebrate the historic day, we also celebrate with pride and fondly remember the contribution and sacrifice of the patriots who selflessly gave their life for the nation and the patriots who selflessly choose to bear the hardship and the suffering in the pursuit of the long-cherished dream. I join the nation in paying my homage to all the men and all the patriots who are no more with us today. I warmly congratulate all the participants of the award and special commendation for their dedication and commitment. God bless us all. Putnalin.